Is RoboCop the first movie we're talking about this week?
Of course it is, Dylan, because RoboCop was recommended by our Patreon member, Mr. Petit.
Whoa.
That's not his name. I don't remember what his name is. It's something long and stupid. Hang on, I'll pull it up. Don't worry, it's cool. It was recommended by Patreon member, Macho Man Retard Savage.
Whoa.
Whoa! Thank you very much. If you would also like to recommend a movie, please subscribe to our Patreon. It's only $1 a month. It's pretty sweet. As for the movie, though, Tanner, would you like to walk us through the plot of this one?
Sure, I can walk us through the plot. So, we have our police officer Murphy in the city of Detroit in an undetermined point in the future. He gets transferred to Detroit, and Detroit fucking sucks, just like it does in the present. He's out on patrol, and he gets called to catch this bad group of bank robbers, and then they fucking kill him. They just, goddamn, they blast him away. Holy fuck. And then he gets built into RoboCop. And he then goes around and he kind of remembers being alive. And then he tracks down these gang members. And then he stops them and he kills some of them. And then there's a big fight at the end where he kills them all. And then he shoots a guy out of a building. The end.
Yeah.
Now, Dylan, how did you feel about RoboCop?
I feel like, given the circumstances, I figured there'd be more person than robot. Or at least maybe armor plating.
A little more cop than Robo is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, because, he had his, right arm blown off. I was like, alright, obviously, that's gonna be, a robotic arm. And I know the aesthetic of, RoboCop, so I don't know why it surprised me when I finally saw it. But then I saw the finished product, I was like, there's a lot more of this guy that is robot than cop. Obviously, he's got his face, but even that just looks like a human face plastered on a robot.
Did that freak you out, Dylan? Did it freak you?
No, surprisingly not. It doesn't...
Interesting.
That is very surprising. We were fully expecting you to be like, oh, I didn't like that part of the movie very much.
It's a different effect in movies. To me, it's just a guy in a robot suit is basically what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But aside...
But if it were a robot who was wearing a man's face as, his face, then,
that'd be terrible. I'd hate that so much. But it's also the fact that I knew this was a person and not a robot, so there's also that.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I thought this movie was pretty good. I thought the practical effects were very well done. The only practical effect that I had an issue with was and I hope you guys will catch this when I say it, the Robot Chicken-esque ED-209 robot, if you know what I'm trying to get at, where...
Yeah, Big Robo Boy, he's stop motion.
Yeah, they definitely did the best with what they had, but...
I don't think they did do the best with what they had.
I don't know what else. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It looked super weird. It looked really out of place. But
it was bad. I didn't really like that very much. Or really just its inclusion in the film is kind of weird in general because it doesn't really feel like it ever really does much against RoboCop.
Yeah.
Which, I know that there are plenty of people out there, maybe in this room right now, who will say it's a satirical movie. And you gotta keep that in mind with this kind of stuff, okay? This movie's meant to be satirical. Any complaints you have will be immediately negated by my satirical jinjitsu, okay?
I think the whole point of the big fucking mech thing is to just show how stupid and inefficient their whole, basic design for what they're doing is. It's not actually supposed to be some thing that's in use. And, I think the whole point of, RoboCop in and of itself is just to prove that it's fucking stupid and pointless.
I guess so.
I don't really think they have to interact.
Yeah, to be honest, when they were introducing that big mech, I expected some kind of prototype of RoboCop to walk through the door, and then I saw that, and I was like, ugh, that doesn't look too... Because, it was even coming, through the doorway and everything. And then, after it, killed the guy, they obviously had, a statue of it, and they just had smoke come out of the guns. I was like, okay, that looks fine. But then I also was like, so why have that? But then when you have it moving, it looks like it's in some kind of kid's claymation or whatever, stop motion, stupid. But yeah, I thought the pacing of the movie was fairly well done. It hit a snag somewhere in the middle when he was starting to rediscover his life, I guess if that's something you want to say. Because then, I don't know if it disrupts the pace, but I was definitely it's an interesting inclusion because it's making the viewer be like, oh, hey, this is his life, what happened? oh, his family's gone, like, what's gonna happen now?
I was kind of expecting
but-
them to do a lot more with that than they actually ended up doing.
Yeah, they
when
kind
they
of
initially introduced like the Directive 4, what could it be? Whoa, look at this mysterious Directive 4. There were a few thoughts flowing through my mind of what that could possibly be, where it's like, Directive 4, get revenge, murder those who killed me, or like
Right.
find my family, something like that. But eventually they reveal what Directive 4 is, and I definitely like the way they went with that. It was pretty neat, especially the way it plays with like the final confrontation with the whole boardroom, where he yells, "You're fired!" and then he gets fucking blasted. That was pretty
perfect.
sweet.
Yeah.
The proceeding, like, falling through out of the skyscraper, maybe not so good, but like
Yeah.
It looked a bit dated.
maybe just a little bit. Also, like, these people just like keep watching folks get blasted in their meetings.
Yeah.
And they're generally like pretty calm about it. Like in the first one they freak out a bit, but they're not like evacuating.
Yeah.
They're
Right,
like, "Whoa,
yeah.
what's going on here? Hang
Right.
on."
Jesus. That's life in the big city.
I
guess
guess
so.
Detroit especially, I'm sure that they walk past similar scenes on their way to work every day.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just normal to Detroit people,
Jackson, what did you think about this movie?
I thought it was alright overall. There were some goofy things, like the weird visuals going on. I think the general story arc was fine. I don't know if I'm, like, super sold on the tone of the movie. Because
That's
it
the
definitely-
biggest thing for me, I'd say. The tone is really weird in this film.
Yeah, because obviously it's going for, like, kind of like a satirical thing. It's making fun of, I don't even really know.
Society!
I assume it's trying to just, like, poke fun at, like, the military, maybe, like, how we, like, police things
It's kind of-
specifically.
The military, the media.
Yeah.
It's poking fun at America in general, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time.
Like, I think the most like the least subtle, I guess, thing is that the fucking car, where it's some super expensive car, it gets shitty gas mileage, which they literally say, and it's called the 6000 SUX.
Yeah.
That's probably the most blatant, like, oh, we're making fun of like American consumerism and corporatism and all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like, the world building that they do with the fucking, like, advertisements and stuff like that, I think is significantly better here than it was in, like, Starship Troopers when they attempted a very similar thing there. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, it feels much more cohesive here, I'd say, and, like, it actually is adding substance to the film, rather than, like, when it's not the fucking political shit in Starship Troopers and it's just, like, this random other stuff. It's like, why should we care about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a very
Yeah.
important question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jackson.
I'll just say going back to like the tonal issue specifically. I don't know if I really see it as that much of a detractor. I definitely feel like the movie would have been stronger if they just like leaned more into like the satirical side of it. Like I kind of like what they were trying to do with him, like remembering his past and all that stuff. But I don't honestly really didn't care that much, especially because it really doesn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like honestly just like scrapping that whole thing and kind of just like digging into more like RoboCop shenanigans, or maybe having like a more grandiose at final scene. I think the final like fight scene was pretty grandiose in and of itself. But yeah, I don't know. I think the tonal issues are probably like the biggest detractor for me. Everything else was pretty solid for the most part.
Now, I do have a very important question for you boys, assuming we're not about to go to the ratings.
Who would win, Terminator or RoboCop?
I'm pretty sure that Screw Attack did a death battle for this. I'm pretty sure Terminator won.
Ignore them.
I'm pretty sure Terminator would win.
Yeah, I think they're probably right about saying Terminator would win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen Terminator, so I'm going to say RoboCop.
Dude, I also think
Oh.
RoboCop would win. I think RoboCop's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He has a jetpack in the third movie.
Oh, I didn't realize
He
there was more
does.
than one.
There's four RoboCop movies.
Now, I got a question. Would you boys
Yes.
buy that for $1?
I'd buy that for $1.
It's $1. That's like nothing.
Nico, would you buy that for $1?
No?
Oh, man.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not gonna
It's
just
$1.
I'm not gonna fucking give some random guy $1 for nothing.
What did you guys think of that slogan just popping up randomly throughout the movie? Outside
It was
of, like, the
hilarious,
commercials.
Dylan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like they implicate, obviously they're making fun of like, I guess how dumb your average American is when it comes to the kind of entertainment they like. But yeah, I thought it was great how it's just like this really shitty, not funny at all show, and then we're just seeing random people like the store owner and the criminals just be like, buy that for $1. Fucking dying of laughter.
Yeah, I
at
think it's
at
really
this shit.
elevated because like fucking he's saying like this quippy line, but it's not like really in response to anything. Like we just get the
no
punchline. We don't get any of the setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty good. I love that shit.
Okay.
I guess I'll give my thoughts real quick. I'm definitely the big RoboCop fan here.
This is your favorite movie, Tanner.
This isn't my favorite movie. It's definitely up there, though. I do love this movie. I agree. ED 209 looks dated, and I imagine that they went the method of comping in a stop motion creature instead of like trying to build a robot for, I'd assume, cost reasons, which is lame, but I believe this film was made on a relatively low budget as well, so they were working with what they had.
Dude, the RoboCop costume cost them $1 million to make.
That's crazy, and it looks fucking great.
It does. It looks really good.
One other detraction, there are definitely moments in the action scenes that look pretty silly because RoboCop is so immobile. Like, I think of when he's getting attacked by the ED-209, most of that looks fucking stupid. Like when he dodges out of the way of a missile and he just kind of goes, and he like very slowly moves. Or there's like one scene where he's like stumbling, I guess, from a missile, and he's down here and he's like, oh, and it looks fucking weird. That was goofy.
For the most part, I do really appreciate the fucking actor for RoboCop, though, and the way he's able to like do these robot movements generally without it looking really dumb as he's like moving around and shit.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
And I think that's where this movie really shines, which I think pretty much all of the characters are pretty great. Yeah. I think RoboCop is awesome. I think he's very well acted. I think he looks cool as fuck. I think we have a good group of villains, especially our main guy, Clarence Boddicker. I think he does a really good job being like a crime boss sort of guy, and he's really fucking despicable. They make you hate him pretty immediately when he kills Murphy.
Yeah.
I like the Chief. I like Dick Jones. I like Bob Norton. I think these guys all do a great job, and you really get what their character is, and they're pretty entertaining, in my opinion. And I think the story is pretty solid. And then, I think a lot of the effects that are practical, so the RoboCop suit and a lot of the blood and guts and gore, I think that all looks really good.
Yeah, that was real blood from that guy getting blasted in the meeting.
There are versions of this movie where they try and make it PG-13, and so they just take out the blood from that. I accidentally watched one of those versions once after having seen the real one, and I'm like, what is this fucking bullshit? This is terrible. I don't want this. Give me the guts.
Yeah.
But I really like this movie, and I'm ready to rank it if you guys are.
I will say one last thing right before we go to the rankings. What did you guys...
I wouldn't buy that for $1.
Dang. In terms of practical effects, and I guess this would be counted as gore, what did you guys think of, like, the part where the guy drives into the big old canister of toxic waste and then stumbles out as a melted blob of human mess?
I liked it when they ran him over and he exploded like a water balloon.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. That blew my mind. I was not expecting that.
That moment is weird and feels kind of out of place, but the costume is good enough, and him exploding is an awesome enough scene that I'm fine with it. Yeah. Even if I'm like, he melted. What? Yeah. Why is this? But anyway, it was cool.
I'm shocked I didn't activate his windshield wipers.
He kind of drove off a cliff immediately after that, so...
Yeah.
True.
Anyway.
So Tanner, if you're so high on this film, then what are you going to be ranking it there, bucko?
Earlier, just a couple days ago, I said, don't worry, guys, I don't think I'm going to give it an S, and I'm immediately reneging on my word. I'm giving it an S-.
There we go.
There you go. Dylan, how about you? What are you ranking it?
Oh my gosh, guys, I think I agree with Tanner. I'm going to give this movie an S. I'm just kidding. I thought this movie was still very good, though. I give it an A+.
Okay.
That's absurd. Jackson, how about you, dude?
I give it a B+.
B+?
Huh.
That's much lower than I was expecting, honestly. I'm giving it an A-, though.
There we go.
Okay. Where does that land us?
Probably an A.
That puts us at B. Oh, I'm looking at my rankings still. That puts us at A. Dylan got it.
Gotcha, okay. Solid A.
I know.
I'm honestly surprised by that. I definitely thought that I was the lowest on this film, but...
Huh.
And I was feeling a little bad about giving an A-, but...
Oh.
Now you don't have to feel bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I feel great. Now I know that my vote was correct.